Every day we struggle for one of two reasons. Either A, we struggle because we're getting some kind of emotional benefit from it, or we're utilizing that to make ourselves feel like a victim. Or B, we're struggling because we don't know what it takes to not struggle. Sometimes we're just one piece of information away from being and having all of the things that multimillionaires have that we see and we wish we can have that, or what we would have, or what we would do differently if we had that. We're only one piece of information away, because when you think about it, people that make, let's say $10,000 a month compared to somebody who makes $1 million a month, there's not really something physically 10 times more that this person has that this other person doesn't have. And so when you really think about capabilities, all of us have capabilities. We just don't have certain pieces of information. And for some of us, that's not our fault. And so I have struggled, in the past financially for most of my life. And it wasn't until I've done a few of these things that I'm going to share with you that not only did I change my financial situation around, but I also have the boldness, the conviction, and the knowledge and the passion to help others do the exact same thing. And so in this video, I want to share with you things that if you do this every single day, it's going to be virtually impossible to stay poor and struggle financially. And I know that's a tall order, but if you stick around, I want you to challenge me on what I'm telling you. Now, the first thing that's really critical to do is to spend the first hour of your day focusing on improving your life and improving your financial situation. Now, that can be reading books about, people that are multimillionaires, or people that are successful, or people that you admire. It could be like studying of some sort. It could be like even studying the Bible from a wealth perspective, because there are so many biblical principles that focus on building wealth that even non-believing people are using and benefiting from. Because the thing about principles is that they work for anybody that use them. So that can be something that you do. And it's important that you truly protect that first hour of the day, regardless to what you want to do or how it benefits you. Because so often the first hour of the day is what robs people of the rest of their life, because they don't put their own mask on first before assisting others. They just start helping other people and answering people and putting out fires. And so they waste that first start time to really help them how they're going to finish. Years ago, I used to run track when I was younger. And sometimes the fastest person does not always win, even though that does not make sense. So I used to run the 100-meter dash. And the thing that I realized is that your start is so critical because that race is so short. So somebody cannot be as fast, but they can get a phenomenal start and they can win the race every single time. Because the person that's faster, because they don't get a good start, they have to exert that much more energy to catch up to the other person. And sometimes when you are just like trying to struggle and force something, you use more energy and you restrict yourself. And so you don't just flow and do things naturally, and it just doesn't happen as effortlessly as it could. How does that relate to this? It relates to this because just like the start of a race, the start of the race can cause the slower person to win every single time. And here's the thing, if you are faster and you get a good start, lights out. The same thing with your day. If you get a great start to your day, you're talented, you have potential, you're smart, you have all of these capabilities. And if you put all of those things into practice and you get a great start on your day, that's just going to ensure that you win every single time. Now, winning does not look the same every single time. Winning could just be that you weren't as distracted as you were the previous day, like small victories, and we have to celebrate ourselves for that. But so often, people, the first thing that they do is they cut on their phone or they look at their email. And when you think about both of those things, they're robbing you of time and energy and things away from you. Because sometimes when you get emails early in the morning, it's things that people want from you. Those things are not enhancing you. They're not putting more oxygen in you. Yeah, they might be necessary for something that you give attention to after your day start, but it's like the first hour of your day, you want to protect it and you want to give yourself that time to focus on being the best you that you can be and focusing on something that can actually help you financially get ahead. Because once you make more money, and this is a totally different video, once you make more money, now you can start to buy time. you can start to put money into things that can remove you out of the equation. And that just caused you to be so much more effective, in addition to you being able to leverage those things to even make more money with. Like I said, that's a totally different video. Now, the second thing that I do want to say is that if you do this one thing, like all of these things are really critical, but there's another one I'm going to share with you as well. But if you do this right here, like this is going to change every area of your life. And I typically do not use universals because when people say all or never, they're typically not true. But in this situation, if you do this one thing, it will improve every single area of your life, guaranteed. And it's only a matter of time. Only give energy to the outcome you desire. When you ask the average person, what do you want? They typically start with all of the don'ts. I don't want this, I don't want that, because they're not clear on what they do want. They're 100% clear on what they don't want, but they're not clear on what they do want. But when you are 100% clear on what you do want and you only give energy to that outcome that you desire, that's going to cause you to stop watching certain things. It's going to cause you to stop listening to certain things. It's going to cause you to stop even allow yourself to even hear certain things, because that is not the outcome that you desire. For transparency, somebody showed me this and taught me this about 3 or 4 years ago, and I have used it every single day since then. Now, am I tempted to watch things that are not going to benefit me and help? Of course I am, because I'm human. And so when I see like a great thumbnail or some juicy ooey gossip about somebody else, it's like, no, I don't want that person to have a negative life or to downfall or anything like that. I don't want that, but it's like my human nature is curious about what happened. Like what was the outcome of that? However, that's not the outcome that I desire. So it helps me to avoid and overcome those temptations, because those are things that I cannot give energy to if I'm going to stay true to this actually agreement that I have with myself to only give energy to the outcome that I desire. So that thinking, it's caused me to even like seek different people, that I normally wouldn't have sought. It's caused me to sever certain ties with certain people that I love, and I desire to connect with them for various reasons. But again, it does not align with the outcome that I desire. And it's not that I can't connect with those people on some level, but again, where I'm going and the thing that I desire, they don't desire to go there. And I can't force them to try to be successful. I can't force them to improve their lives. I can't force them to, want their situations to be better in different areas of their life. And so it's like, hey, I just relate to them where they are, but I only give energy to the outcome that I desire. And I promise you, if you do this, this would change every area of your life. It will cause you to start developing certain habits that just draws and pulls money and attracts money to you because of the different things that you're doing. But it's also going to just make you just have more joy and more peace overall, because sometimes it's like those things that really capture our attention and we just want to click on it, we want to read about the story. When you pour those things in your life, it's like now you have possession over those things. It's like if you watch gossip and you listen to gossip all the time, now you have those things in your spirit. You have those things in your mind. And it's like those things, they contaminate you. Even though they might be attractive, they contaminate you. And I had to learn it about myself. Because overall, I think I'm a pretty positive person, but there was a time where I was reading the different gossip, and people would send me different text messages about things that were just negative. And it's like over time, I found myself not even feeling like me, because I'm weighing myself down with all of these things that have no bearing on the outcome of my life, from what I want and what's best for me and what's best for the people around me that I can actually serve. But essentially, if you do this one thing, only give energy to the outcome you desire, almost every area, no, not almost, every single area of your life is going to improve and is going to get better. Now, the next thing that I would say that's really important is every single day, focus on being the absolute best version of yourself. So I know that might sound cliche. Here's the reality. When you think about people that are millionaires, millionaires are millionaires because they are millionaires. so often we don't realize that we have what we have because that's the person that we're being. We focus so much on the doing and so much on the having that we don't focus enough time on the being. And it's like when you think about even relationships, people have are phenomenal, like talented, beautiful, gifted, all of these different things, but they don't feel that in their being. And so they attract who they believe that they are. And it's not that they don't have certain possessions and beauty and all those kind of things, but because of who they're being, that's who they're attracting. And it's like who they're attracting is not who they want, but that's who they are. And so it's like, unless you become somebody different, you're going to continue to attract the very thing that you are. So when it comes to finances, it's no different. And I know sometimes people might feel like this is just oversimplified, but it's not. It's like when you think about if you want to make six figures, I don't know where you are financially, but if you want to make six figures or you want to make $1 million per year, start becoming the person who does that. If in your mind, if you want to make $1 million a year, what kind of conversation does that person have on a regular basis? What do they eat in the morning? What time do they go to bed? When you start thinking about like what characteristics does this person possess, you just put them on and you become that person. And it's like once you do this, that's going to cause you to attract different results because we don't realize this. Everything that we have, everywhere that we are right now is a result of something that we chose. And we choose things based on who we are and the information that we have available to us at that time that we made certain choices. But when you change these simple things around, it's going to be a game changer, especially when you focus on this becoming a habit that you do every day. Here's one thing that I really want to emphasize, and I cannot emphasize it enough. When you get to where you want to be in life, keep doing these things. So often it's like people reach a financial goal and then they stop doing the very thing that got them there. And it's like sometimes the hardest thing to do is to get to where you want to be. But the second hardest thing to do is to maintain where you currently are. And so often people don't do what it takes to maintain where they are because they're just satisfied with getting there. And it's like, that's why, and this is a totally different, but that's why it's so important to not have a goal that has a finish line, but have a goal on becoming who can accomplish that. Because so often it's like people might have a goal of making $1 million. Now, once they make $1 million, they stop. They stop doing everything, but they don't realize the spending that keeps going. But they stopped doing what got them there. And so it's like when you become the person is going to demand that you maintain this certain status as a lifestyle because that's who you are, not just what you have. Because when you think about if that's who you are, your standard is going to demand that you maintain this versus this is just what you have. You know, again, there's a whole other video that I actually did on the whole be, do, have. You know, that's really good in my opinion, and other people have told me about it. But when you get this concept and you focus more every single day on being the best version of you that you can be, your life is going to turn around, your finances is going to turn around, and it might not happen as fast as you want it to, but when it happens, it's going to be worth the wait and what it took to actually get there. Now, here's the other thing, because so often like people, they do things that they put in the work, they put in time, and I want to just ask you to remind yourself that it's not about the time that you put in, but it's about what you do in the time that you put in, whatever you're putting time to do. Because we live in a world where there's so many distractions. And so often we might give ourselves, let's say, 8 hours to do something. And because we give ourselves 8 hours to do something, we trick ourselves into thinking that after this 8 hours is over with, then this other thing is just going to automatically happen, you know, or I'm going to be better. And what we fail to realize is sometime within that 8 hours, you know, we might check our Facebook status, we might check our email, you know, we might scroll through our phone, and we don't realize that those things that we're doing is ticking away and is counting against that time. And sometimes what we do is You know, if we have 8 hours of working on something, the first hour we might be working really diligently, and in the last hour we might be working very diligently, but the 6 hours in between, we totally wasted that. And because the first hour and the last hour we really did diligent work, we trick ourselves into thinking that we actually put a full 8 hours in. And then it's like once you get to the end, the last thing that your brain remembers is how hard you work, and then it sees the result, and it's like, it wasn't supposed to happen like this. We were supposed to accomplish so much more, but it's because of the 6 hours that was in between. And so when you focus more on completion than you do time, you'll probably get things done a whole lot faster. And I'm telling you this from personal experience and just so many people that I've coached and I've actually talked to about this as well. But so often we feel like because we put a certain amount of time in that we should have this better result. But sometimes we fail to realize that the time that we spent was not the time that we actually spent. And so when you focus more on getting something done, it will cause you to be a lot more effective in getting results a lot faster. Now, here's something that I also just want to leave you with is, when it comes to money, when you want to buy something, when you want to invest in something, I want to challenge you and I want to encourage you to question every purchase. And not question every purchase like you got a penny pinch and you only got $1 and you can't go over. I'm not saying it from like a poverty mindset. I'm saying question every purchase because sometimes we fail to realize that we spend money on things because we think it's going to cause us to feel a certain way that we'll never get out of that purchase. Or we think it's going to give us something that we can never get from and out of that purchase. And so when you purchase something, when you invest in something, I really want you to ask yourself, what am I really expecting to get out of this purchase? And just really sit with that for a minute. And I'm saying that for so many different reasons. When I wrote my book, Money is Killing You Daily, like so many people reached out to me about the psychology of spending and why they were putting themselves in financial binds because they kept spending knowing that they were going to regret it at some point. And the thing that I learned from that and from the book and the studying and all those and the people that I work with is a lot of times we spend money out of a bad habit that we don't even realize is a bad habit. And it's like we spend money because we want the purchase on the other side to do something for us. Like for instance, there was a time where I was going to spend 6 figures on a car. I could have got it. It was a nice, really nice car. However, when I asked myself this same question, what I realized is I wanted to buy this car because I wanted a certain small group of people to give me a certain validation that I felt I needed from them. I wanted me to see them, to like see me in the light as I was one of them because of this vehicle. And then I realized later on, after asking myself this question, that man, that would be a very dumb reason for me to purchase that car. not that purchasing the car is just dumb. The reason for me purchasing that car would be dumb because people purchase cars that are 6 figures all the time for tax reasons or because those cars even make them more money. And that's a great reason to buy. But to just buy a car because you want validation from somebody, that's a dumb reason to buy a car. But if we don't ask ourselves these very tough and hard and very deep questions, we'll never know the answer. Because sometimes we might be purchasing things just because we want people to validate us, just because we want people to think about us in a certain light, just because we want people to respect us. And the thing is this, no matter how much money you spend, you can't force anybody to feel that way about you. Either they feel that way about you or they don't, but you can't force anybody to feel that way about you no matter how much money you spend. And I had to learn that. And I'm so glad that I did not buy that 6-figure car because that model, the next year, the value dropped like a rock, so that would have been a horrible purchase all the way around. But I just want to encourage you on all levels, whether it's cars, houses, clothes, no matter what it is, I really want you to just get in the habit of asking yourself, what am I expecting this purchase to do for me? What am I expecting to get out of this purchase? And if you do all of these things every single day on a regular basis, it's going to be impossible, not only for you to stay poor, because I don't even think you're poor, period, but it's also going to be impossible for you to stay in the same financial situation that you're in right now. Even if your financial situation is great, these things, they're going to drastically make them better and improve almost every single area of your life in the process. Here's the thing that I want to ask of you. If you've gotten any value from this video whatsoever, I want to ask you, if you've not already subscribed, consider subscribing, hit that like button, and share this video with at least 2 or 3 other people who you know for sure can benefit from this video. But I look forward to seeing you on the next one.